All right, welcome back, people. Hope everybody is okay. Wait, how you doing, man?
I'm here, man. I'm good.
All right. Um, Reggae boy Ravel Morrison. I just want to take about 5 to 10 minutes to speak on Ravel and the transformation that he has made from last year at this point, coming out of the transfer window where he failed to find a club, to now where he's settled in at Derby County, and to the point where it's hardly spoken about. But I think it is worthy of praise and definitely a good look for Ravel. Hopefully, um, he can continue. I know it's a 1 year deal at Derby, and there might be some minor issues within the club that don't really have anything to do with Ravel. You know what I mean? But it's a good look for his career, I think, and it hopefully he can build on it. And he has performed decent. He had some different performances under Paul Hall, especially the last game that we came out of. He had a very good first half. Jamaica losing 1-0 to Costa Rica, but I can see the progress, you know what I mean? And I think Ravel will probably be an important part of the team for next year or 2 or 3, you know what I mean? So, Wade, we have some news from the Derbyshire Life. Kind of a clickbait headline, but let's just skip past that and get into the meat of the article.
Is it a clickbait headline, or is this the media trying to stir up the fans? As it reads here by Mr. Ryan Conway, Derby County and the Ravel Morrison conundrum. The Derby County midfielder remains a source of frustration for the fans. This is a subheading, right there. You can tell that he's trying to lead the readers one way, but then he opens up with praise. In many ways, Ravel Morrison has had a successful season so far at Derby County. The former Manchester United product has long caused frustration for his inability to stay on the field for one reason or another. If that's not a conflicting open two sentences, I don't know what that is. No such problems at Pride Park by all counts. He has been a terrific leader for a team containing huge amounts of youth. His on-field product has also been rather good. The midfielder sits behind only Max Bird and Tom Lawrence for chances created, 17 for the season in total. He's tied with the biggest chances created, 3, and has completed 10 of his 17 attempted dribbles by Opta's metrics. He has also taken the second most shots on the team, 36, behind only Tom Lawrence. He has no doubt been a positive influence on the squad as a whole and has added something to Wayne Rooney's squad in an attacking manner. Full of praise there again. But his last 10 league games have been something of a frustration, perhaps for everybody, as he has been relegated to coming off the bench for the most part. The frustrations boiled over with his lackluster substitute performance against Nottingham Forest in a 2-1 defeat, in which he was sent off in injury time for a rash challenge born out of frustration. Prior to his 97-minute dismissal, Morrison had endured a limp afternoon, introduced on the hour with Derby chasing an equalizer while the game was still 1-1. Morrison was sloppy in possession, failed to provide much thrust going forward through some of what was also down to Forest's excellent switch up in shape to be for the middle of the park.
Let's be honest, I watched Forest beat Arsenal the other day. So
I was just thinking that exact point. I mean,
and they played some good football. So let's
let's be realistic here, right? Anyway, and he keeps, even though he'd like to cast doubt in Ravel, he's always contradicting himself, because right there he's telling you how well Ravel was poor against Forest, even though Forest was brilliant and they played this and they switched up the shape, and but it was all Ravel's fault, right? Anyway, so congesting areas Morrison likes to work in and put his defense in hot water. It signaled the latest in recent on-the-pitch inconsistencies for the 28-year-old. Rooney has admitted that in recent weeks for Morrison and Colin Kazim Richards, who had been coming off the bench too, it had been tough, but called their attitude in training first class. Which is important, but let's go on.
Because your coach is going to rotate your squad throughout the season.
Your coach is also looking for leaders to encourage the rest of the players, especially him being a senior man.
Yeah.
That's what he wants. That's really the fact that he's contributing to the team in such a high production rate is really a bonus to a coach who has such a young team.
Let me right? It's true. I agree with you. And
you know
let
what I mean?
Me show you why I see this as a good thing.
Because coaches normally have these players there mainly for leadership roles, but he's not only leading by example in training, but he's actually producing.
Yeah, and he's maintaining a good attitude even when it is rotation. Because the other thing is January is rotation time, brother.
Right.
If you consider the time of year, you just came out of probably the busiest part of the English season. That December, where it's all about game after game after game after game. So there is going to be rotation. There are going to be lackluster performances. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if that is all that them have to complain about for a man who has had season after season of not completing a season with a team or not breaking into a team to the point now where he's a vital member, I think that is tremendous progress. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right.
Not to mention that he's obviously praising Ravel's attitude and commitment, which was his biggest detractor in the past.
Yes.
You know? So
I was one of the people that got up and said straight up around this time last year, if Ravel don't find himself in a club situation, it don't make sense him continue to play international football.
Or maybe even professional football for that matter.
You understand? So to see the man do this now, you have to give the man credit. You know what I mean? Get your career back on track. Stay out of the headlines. Just play your football. And all them can do is complain about probably a 1 and 2 time when you come off the bench and you're not up to it, or one occasion. But when you look and you go through the stats, you see a man who has settled in at a club and is doing well. And even if he doesn't stay at Derby County beyond the season, it's a good look for him moving forward because he has produced there. You understand? And he has focused on his work. So anybody else that would be looking at him, you understand, if Derby don't want to keep him within the group, would probably say, okay, I can take a risk on Ravel. He's an international footballer playing consistent international football. He's consistent at the club. He hasn't had any issues there with a club that has had these ups and downs with off the field issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's definitely a good look. So we can continue in the article.
And then as we continue, Mr. Conway is going to say, so clearly the attitude has not been a problem. So what is the problem, Mr. Conway?
Yeah.
Nor has been his form. So if it's not his attitude, what is not his form? What is it? Morrison created 4 chances in the last 5 league matches prior to November's 1-1 draw with Millwall when he missed out through a suspension and has since only started 1 game. He also created 2 big chances across those 5 games and attempted 12 shots, the most on the team at that time.
Yeah.
So he's producing numbers, generally lively and sprightly in the team and dropping into clever positions between the lines and demanding the ball so he can create, sometimes in areas congested and aimed at stopping him from pulling the strings. Morrison's had been steady, if not outstanding.
Yes, a career revived.
It perhaps throws into question if his recent usage is more down to style and personnel rather than form. Derby had won 4 of their last 5 games prior to defeat to City Ground, and in each of them they played with a more conventional 4-4-1-1 system as opposed to the often used 4-3-3 Rooney likes to deploy. With the emergence of Leon Thompson in midfield, who will likely be the long-term replacement for the now departed Graham Shinney and Luke Plange, as well as Lawrence, being the club captain, top scorer, and often the most dangerous player for Derby, means he is nearly always assured of a place in the team. All of which means Morrison's place in the team is not written in ink in a way it would have perhaps been. One could ask if Morrison's defensive output is what's keeping him on the bench. Though defending is not his primary or even secondary job, at times he can be slack in the area of the game, and Rooney can ill afford to have a player become one-dimensional when fighting against such odds, thus reducing Morrison's impact for now to that of an impact substitute capable of unlocking tight events when the Rams are in the pinch. Morrison has largely been a solid contributor to the Rams. He said that the club was bright, and perhaps unfairly considering all factors, many believe he would provide all the cut and thrust that Derby so often lacked in the last 2 seasons before his arrival. Derby's fight against the odds in Championship still seems unlikely, but they have managed to reduce the gap to 8 points from safety and lifted themselves off the foot of the table thanks to a marvelous run of victories from 6 games. And remember, Derby was hit with some fine where they started with like negative 8 points or something like that.
I remember.
And hit with a transfer
and restrictions, transfer restrictions and all of that.
Exactly.
Right up to the end of the thing there, I think they weren't allowed to bring in players probably until like the last of the window.
Transfer window, yeah. So this is exceptional. Mr. Conway continues. Morrison is still a part of the team, and with 18 games left, provided Derby are still in existence, then he is truly hoping they are. The former Manchester United prospect will be required if Rooney's men are to stage a great comeback. Let me read that again. The former Manchester United prospect will be required if Rooney's men are to stage a great comeback. So Mr. Conway, again contradicting himself, is saying that Morrison is actually going to be required if Rooney is to stage a comeback with Derby. Perhaps sending off.
Like when you read between the lines, anybody who follow football is the man obviously changed his style of play. You know what I mean? So the function of the players changed. I think he switched to a more where he wanted the team to be more solid defensively in order to stay in the games. You understand?
Yeah.
I doubt he's going to apply the same tactic to every game. But maybe he felt like the run of games that he was on, he needed to do a change of players and then use Ravel differently.
Yeah, exactly. But Mr. Conway actually alluded that into the article as well, to say maybe it's not form, it's a strategy. He just mentioned it in a one-liner. This journalist knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's actually a fan of a rival club.
No, but hear what
or maybe
it's Ravel's name.
Ravel's name can sell the article.
Yes.
Or maybe an agent
controversial title.
Ravel probably holding a space for Alka Young Baller where agent was paying for say, yo, write a conundrum article. These opinions are not the opinions of Mr. PrimoVision.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Yeah, but for real though, when you look at it, like I said, when you look at the big picture, what Ravel has managed to do, how he's managed to go in, settling into the team. Coaches have got change them things throughout the season. It happens at bigger clubs with bigger players. So that is just natural. It happens for the Reggae Boyz where he doesn't start every match either. You know what I mean? So definitely. That is not a big deal. What is good is that he has gone there and he has produced, and the numbers that even this journalist quotes can't be denied. And we're going to leave it right there. You know what I mean? Remember, like the videos and subscribe.